The Working Together More Fund had its genesis after the 2008 global financial crisis. And what happened was that several funders reduced the amount of funding that they made available to community groups and applicants. There was a concern expressed about, well, this is really serious, but as four small family foundations, we couldn't possibly fill the gap, but we would really like to do something. So we racked our brains, and then we thought, well, one of the things that organisations can do in this more cash-strapped times is work together closer and see if they can find some efficiencies around how they work together, and out of that came the idea of the Working Together More Fund. Started with 4 funders, now we've got 5 funders who just put untagged money into a pool that is the fund, and then they sit around a couple of times a year and in come the applications, and everybody talks about, what should qualify and what shouldn't, what should be approved and what shouldn't. And there's so much peer learning around that. There's peer learning around learning what in areas that we don't operate in, but more importantly there's a bigger philanthropic conversation around how you do philanthropy and how you do it thoughtfully and how you learn off each other. And that's pretty rare really, other than going to conferences. You don't get much of that.
I think collaboration is really important, and I think we know that it is more important now from us doing it ourselves. The 5 funders that sit around a table together learn so much from each other. So I can see that the benefits for community organisations to do the same is huge. One of the recent reports we've had back is from Age Concern. Age Concern received funding to pull all the 33 local age concerns together to come together to develop a strategic plan. So before that, they had all developed their own strategic plans, all 33 branches of Age Concern. So you can just imagine the duplication, reinventing the wheel 33 times in New Zealand to get them all together for one day, had the conversation, and there's now a strategic plan. So everyone across New Zealand that relies on their services knows they're getting the same thing and getting the best service possible. I think that stops those gaps happening, people falling through the gaps. If organisations are all linked and know what's happening in the community, it helps everyone. It helps those organisations with their peer learning, and it helps people in the community that need them the most to know that they're getting the services there.
The fund gives away about $275,000 a year in 3 funding rounds, but it tends to give away smaller amounts to quite a few groups rather than large amounts to a lesser number. The fund can fund any organisation that any of the members would fund itself, because generally funders have things where they fund some things and not others. But the Working Together More Fund says if any of our organisations would fund this, then the fund can fund it. So that broadens it quite a lot more. The funders themselves have had to work together as a model for the others to work together, and it's not easy. And so we learn just how hard it is to collaborate. So I think the funders demonstrating it and then putting money on the table to get it started has been a pretty potent mix.